What is up, podcast people, podcast universe? You are now tuning in to another episode of Ramehs Radio. But before I get into the show, allow me to have my wonderful co-host introduce himself.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, UndeadEnigma, back again for episode 5 of Ramehs Radio, and I'm excited as always to be back here. Just a little precursor to the episode. Before we start recording this, we're actually recording this. We're pre-recording this episode before E3, but we will be releasing a bonus E3 episode, so you guys will have heard or had a chance to see that episode before this episode comes out.
Yeah, we felt like we didn't want to wait that whole long amount of time to give you the E3 episode, because E3 is going to be chock full of pretty good announcements. I'm hoping we're going to touch on that a little bit into the show. So yeah, it would only make sense to give E3 its own show, so that show will be before and then this will come out after. So don't worry if you don't hear anything about E3, you'll already hear it. Yeah.
That episode will be a dedicated bonus episode specifically to E3. So that'll be a gaming only episode. So it'll be we're aiming for like an hour, probably an hour and a half, but it might be a little longer with all the news because there'll be a lot to talk about with E3. But it will be a solely gaming focused bonus episode, whereas our regular show has our typical separated segments.
Yeah, we're just gonna laser in on that. We gotta keep a focus on that for sure. Getting into our topics though, speaking of E3, Kotaku did an article and it had me thinking. They were talking about leaks regarding this year's E3 announcements from companies like Microsoft. And I hypothesized, do leaks ruin E3? Gotta think about it. If you already know the big announcement moments before they come out, that, for me at least, that kind of kills the hype. But Enigma, what do you think about leaks and the whole idea of leaks regarding E3?
I think it's an interesting question that you posed, and I think that you're on the right track, or you're pretty on the nose there when you say that it kills the hype when you have nothing to anticipate. But I think that the issue with leaks is kind of twofold. I do think that it doesn't fully ruin E3, it doesn't ruin the show because you still get to see the games that you're hoping to see, but it creates one of two problems. Either, like you said, the hype is ruined for an announcement that you were really excited to see, which can ruin some moments where you have Twitter popping off and trending and Reddit and all these social media outlets just going crazy over a game they weren't ready to be dropped because now they're expecting it. Or you can get people's expectations too high for something that wasn't planned to be actually shown, that was maybe just in talks and that's how it got leaked, or maybe it was never really an idea and it was a fake leak, because it's always hard to delineate fake leaks, especially when people like to sprinkle in some confirmed leaks with their fake leaks and use quote-unquote sources and such. So it can create this anticipation for people and excitement for people that want to see certain games that they've been waiting for that had no plans to be shown at the show.
I never understood, one thing I never understood was why people loved the fake, why do they like putting fake leaks in? It's such a weird...
It seems like an attention thing.
Yeah, like a grab for attention almost. I don't know. I don't really understand. I mean, if you have your sources and your sources are telling you, yeah, Microsoft is going to show this and Sony's going to show this, okay, that makes sense. But why are you just pulling stuff out of the air that has nothing to do with anything, no relevance? But yeah,
no.
It's no. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say I totally agree. It's weird to, I don't know if it's just the attention thing, like you were saying, or like we were both saying, or if they just want to see certain things and that's why they're saying that, to hope to influence companies. But we have no influence as a single individual. It's a collective thing. We have to ask for certain things. You can't just spit out fake leaks and say, oh, they're going to show X, Y, and Z and expect the companies to be oh, this is what the fans want to see 2 weeks before the show.
I don't know, man. That's one thing about the gaming community that I feel like is kind of weird. You have these insiders, quote unquote, that have all this information, and a lot of it is fake a good amount of times, but they still have some credibility in the community, which I never understood. You don't really see that in like any other medium or, you know, community where it's like people will continually put out fake leaks and people still follow them and take their word as law. But regardless, that's besides the point. Me personally,
that's true. Sorry to cut you off there, but that's true. Like, I think it's weird how people can like consistently post fake news or like fake information and still have some semblance of credibility in the social media sphere. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just want to touch on the whole idea. The thing for me about the leaks, I already kind of touched on this before when I brought the topic in, but me, I'm a person, every Christmas, this is related, don't worry, this is related to the topic. Every Christmas, when my little sister would go into the closet, my parents' closet, to see what the Christmas presents were, I would never follow her. Because I love the surprise. I loved the idea of waking up on that morning, opening the box, opening the presents, and seeing I got this game or this toy or whatever it is that I got for Christmas. I just love the surprise. I love that WTF moment. I'm censoring myself, obviously, but I just love that crazy moment. Like, imagine if Wii Sports was leaked. Like, if they leaked that. I'm talking shit. I
was gonna say, hang on. You had hype for Wii Sports. You had the utmost anticipation. I hear that, but
nah,
I'm a dedicated Wii Sports player. But even I didn't mind the Wii Sports leak.
Man.
Could you imagine if they leaked Wii Fit?
Bro, oh my gosh, that whole press conference was gold. Like, imagine if you knew that was coming though. Like, shit.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's accurate.
Like, that would just ruin the whole immersion, the whole experience. So for me, I love those moments where it just hits you and you're just like, wow, this is amazing, or wow, this is garbage. Like, you know, games like Scalebound. I don't really remember hearing any leaks about Scalebound when that was first brought to the public, but that game was amazing. I mean, besides the frame rate, the whole idea of the game was amazing.
Yeah,
I think that really,
the concept and the IP looked great. They looked crazy.
I think that really would have ruined my whole experience if I had known that was going to be shown at the show. And I think that's just the whole point that I'm trying to get to, is like, there's no, well, I mean, E3 in itself is a dying concept, because
I don't even think Sony doesn't even have a schedule.
Yeah, Sony's not even scheduled on for E3. So the concept of E3 itself is dying. So why would you then pile on top of that to then just go ahead and spoil like 50 to 60% of the announcements and reveals that we're gonna see? It just, I don't know. It's I saw the article, but I didn't read the article, because
I get where you're coming from. Yeah, you didn't want to spoil yourself. I get where you're coming from, but I think it's a little excuse me. I think it's a little subjective as well, because some people like to be like spoiled. Some people like to know what's coming beforehand, and it gets them like excited and anticipated. So that's why, for example, your sister wanted to go in and go find the presents, whereas you didn't want to look. And if I bet, actually, this is a good question, but it's somewhat related. Did she try to mess with you by telling you what your presents were when you said you didn't want to know?
She would, like, every once in a while. I remember there was one year where I got I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this game. I don't know if you've heard of this game. There's this game called Backyard Wrestling. And
who you think I am? Don't know Backyard.
You know Backyard? Oh, that game is fire, bro.
Classic game.
That game is fire. But yeah, when I was gonna get Backyard Wrestling, my sister, she was like, oh, I saw something in there that I think you're really gonna. I was like, no, don't even say it. Don't even say it. Like, I don't want to hear it. But yeah, I don't know. The whole spoiling idea is just not for me, man. I don't rock with it.
Yeah, to each their own, but like keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I understand for sure though. I understand how some people would be like, oh, they're gonna show this, and they're just thinking about like, oh, what's the gameplay gonna look like? What's the combat gonna look like? It's somewhat
easier for some people to like schedule it too. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you got work on a certain day and you can only watch like a certain presentation. It's like, you know, X game is gonna be shown at X or Y or Z time. You could like take your break like a little bit early and go watch that or something. I don't know. Some people have different situations, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I can definitely see circumstances in which knowing what's coming up would be beneficial.
Yeah. E3. I don't know. Me personally, I'm excited. Talking in. Well, this is a weird tense that I'm talking because this show is after our E3
yeah,
show.
For sure. We're kind of like talking about our anticipations before we see the show, but they're gonna the listeners are gonna have an opportunity to hear our opinions on the show.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, in general, I am excited for E3. I think I'm most excited for Microsoft. So Microsoft leaks, I am definitely dodging left, right, and center. Nintendo, I mean, what they're gonna have their what is it, Treehouse Direct? Their Nintendo Direct,
their Nintendo Clubhouse or whatever.
Yeah, they're gonna have that. I believe they're the last ones in the week.
Yeah, they are. They're on the Tuesday, and they don't have any set time and when they're gonna finish. They're just gonna present until they're done. So I mean, that shit might kind of bust.
Yeah. So I am excited for Microsoft's event. I'm excited for Nintendo's event. I really want to see what they have for us. 2020 was a big drought. The only game, what big games did we have in 2020? Like Fall Guys, Among Us.
Dude, I don't even remember. Are you talking about games that were big, popular, or do you mean at E3? Because at E3, I don't even fucking remember what was shown in 2020. Also, we're past the 10-minute nice guy clock, so I have to censor myself now.
Yeah, that's true. We good now. Throw out a big fuck YouTube. Nah, see me going. Nah, they gonna suppress our shit now.
Until they cut us the check. Once they cut us the check, then we're cool.
Hey man, we love you, Susan. We love you. But
we love you, Susan. Shout out to you for giving us a platform. Anyways, I can't even remember what was shown at E3 in 2020. But in terms of like popular releases, shit.
It was.
Yo, your guess is as good as mine.
It was. I don't think there was an.
Everybody was playing Fall Guys and Among Us.
Yeah, it was Fall Guys and Among Us. There wasn't really a E3 for 2020. I remember it was just like
the pandemic.
Yeah, they canceled it. It was like they had like the summer games thing that they had summer games. Okay, well I probably shouldn't talk about that, but summer games is going to happen again or has happened again. But that's where they showed Tony Hawk. Remember how they put out,
right? The Last of Us came out in 2020, I think.
Yeah, you're right. The Last of Us 2 did come out in summer.
Yeah.
Was it July?
I think that was the big game of that year.
Yeah, that was like the biggest game that year.
I know people people listening to this are just screaming at us, punch in the air, talking about whatever their favorite game of the year was.
Funny story, in 2020, I actually streamed The Last of Us 2. I streamed me beating the game from start to finish, and I beat it within like, I want to say like 3-4 days. That game is long as shit, and you already know. You know, if like beating it in 3 or 4 days is really, really hard. I literally bought a PS4 just to play The Last of Us 1 and 2, and then I sold it again. But yeah, because at that point there's really no point in owning one, really and truly. I just bought it to play. At the end of the console's life. Yeah, at the end of the life. But yeah, I played the game from start to finish within 3 to 4 days, and I was frustrated. But I did the story. Gameplay was really good. This is kind of going on a tangent. We could talk about The Last of Us 2, but I mean, gameplay was really good, but the story just really irked me. But besides the point, yeah, really, really big games. The only real notable games of 2020 is like Last of Us 2.
That's the only one I can remember.
Yeah, Last of Us 2, Among Us, Fall Guys. I feel like there was something else, but not sure. Wasn't important to me, at least. But,
yeah, like maybe Sekiro, Doom Eternal.
Did Sekiro drop 2020?
Final Fantasy VII Remake came out in 2020. Yo, I'm just forgetting shit that I played. Not Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. I stopped to play that. It's true.
Yeah, there was stuff that dropped, but like few and far between. Also, I think Sony released Dreams in 2020, which was a big thing because Dreams is hard. People make some really cool games in Dreams.
Yeah,
it's the like game maker thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen a YouTuber play it. Don't remember who exactly it was. At the top of my head now, but I did see it's like a user generated game. You like create game levels.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
users make their own like games and levels and shit. It's like Mario Maker on crack for Sony.
Oh, I heard someone remade Silent Hills PT on Dreams.
Yeah.
The what's his name? The Kojima. Kojima. Yeah.
I got canceled.
That's pretty cool. You know the crazy thing? I haven't played that demo. I still haven't played it. I've heard it's insane.
Because unfortunately you can't now. I played it for a bit. When someone that I used to be acquainted with was like religiously obsessed with it and kept it on their PlayStation like all the time just so that people could come. Like whenever people would come over, this guy would literally bring his PlayStation down and be like, "Yo, you're playing Silent Hill PT."
He needs to finish that, bro. Well, isn't it? It's a
canned project because Konami basically. Kojima had beef with Konami. Konami said, "Yo, you're finishing Metal Gear. I don't care." Kojima said, "I'm done with that game franchise." They said, "We're not." He said, "Fuck it, whatever, fine." And then they had a bunch of like arguments, like small arguments, and then they were like, "All right, cut then." And Kojima was like, "Fine, I'm a god, I will."
That's when...
And they were like, "No, you won't." And then he did.
That's when everyone was like saying Kojima was like being held ransom, no? I remember that. I think I remember that.
It's not even like ransom. It was like they were being dickheads about it from like a moral standpoint, but from a business standpoint, they were protecting their IP. Like they took his name off of Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't remember if it was both Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, or if it was just the Phantom Pain part, but they took his name off like the box and the credits and shit, even though he definitely made that game.
Didn't they? I swear they wanted to use Metal Gear Solid and make it like a zombie game. Konami, they don't know what the hell they're doing.
There's like, I think the game's called Metal Gear Solid Survive or something. It is a zombie game. It's that one game that's not Metal Gear.
That is horrible. That is horrible. That is horrible. How do you ruin an iconic franchise?
Bro, because Konami doesn't care. They're just down bad.
Bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's another thing, too. A lot of companies are just ruining their iconic franchises. Like, they don't really care. Like, they're just... This kind of goes back to the conversation that we had a while ago where we were talking about PlayStation and how people were talking about how PlayStation is only about money, how they're putting how gamers are mad that they're putting their games on PC. But yeah, a lot of these companies, like, it's like, but the thing is, like, if you like look at Sega, for instance, Sega doesn't have, well, some titles they really do have, but like for like Sonic, for instance, like they've just ruined that franchise. Yeah, they just like how
threw Sonic into the ground.
Like how do you do that to an iconic character, iconic game franchise? Like it's sad, man. It really is. It's sad. It's
that mascot mentality. The character becomes popular enough to be marketed, and then we got to get every bag we can. They just market every angle that they can for the character.
That is bad, man. Shout out to Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games though. Oh my gosh, I used to love that game on DS.
They made too many of those. Hot take. Hot take.
Hey, some of them weren't the best. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of them weren't the best.
Nah, some of them Johns were fire, but they made a little too many of those.
Yeah, they could have killed it a little bit. They could have left it by the wayside. But I mean, it's free bands.
Still making those. Yeah.
It goes back to the same thing we're talking about. It's free bands for them, free real estate.
Free real estate, yeah, literally.
Like, come on, bro.
They printing money. But anyways, did you have anything else that you wanted to, like, any other hot takes or opinions on E3 and leaks and how you feel about the show?
Not really, man. Honestly, it's just, I'm just excited, and I feel like leaks, for me personally at least, would ruin that. And I just wanna keep the surprise, keep the element of surprise going.
Sounds good. So you gonna keep dodging them leaks, broski?
Yup, definitely. But something that wasn't leaked, which officially came out, was the Battlefield 2042 trailer. So Battlefield did make a futuristic game before. It was, if I'm not mistaken, Battlefield 2142? Was it?
I think it's the same thing. Yeah, it's 2142. So this is like a prequel to that.
Yeah. So what would this be compared to? What Call of Duty did, was it Advanced Warfare? And then they did, what was the game that they said was, oh no, a better comparison, Black Ops 3 and then Black Ops 4, because Black Ops 4 is kind of like the prequel to Black Ops 3. That's a good comparison.
Does Black Ops 4 happen before Black Ops 3? I didn't even know that.
Black Ops 4 takes place before Black Ops 3. So that's why a lot of characters that were in Black Ops 3 actually came back in Black Ops 4, because it's like their prequel before they got all the crazy bionic enhancements that let them jump super high into the air. I don't know. I'm a super Black Ops fan. I've been playing Black Ops. Well, no, I've been playing Treyarch games back since like World of War. So,
yeah,
you know, I really rock with Treyarch. So I've been playing their games, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, this is pretty much like a prequel to that. We saw pretty much, well, first of all, let me say this. It was not gameplay.
No,
it was not gameplay.
It was an entirely CG trailer.
It was a CG trailer. It was a lot
we saw like one or two clips that maybe looked like they could be like in-engine gameplay cutscenes, but no like definitive gameplay.
Yeah, it was a lot of, you know, a lot of dude bro moments, people driving ATVs in the helicopters, like
they were really embracing the like Battlefield community memes. Like they even put the most well-known Battlefield meme from the freaking, you know the meme from Battlefield 3 with the dude who, it's not really a meme, it's just a really sick outplay where the dude's like just murking people in the fighter jet, and then he sees someone on his tail, jumps out of the jet, pulls out his RPG, shoots the man and catches his
yeah
yeah they did that in the trailer, but it was like CG, so it looked way cooler.
Yeah, I don't know how. Well, I mean, it is the first announcement, so you know you kind of gotta let it slide. It is the reveal trailer, but very interesting. We did see a tornado as well.
Yeah, it looks like they're either bringing back Levolution, which is something that they did in like Battlefield 3 or 4, I can't remember. When the like map would dynamically change. Though it looks like they're doing it in maybe a little bit of a different way. It's hard to say. Everybody has a lot of like theories on what that tornado is. Like maybe it's a BR mode, because I think there was like additional information, like a readable document that they dropped after the trailer. That was just like a quick little thing that mentioned that there's a squads mode, but I could be mistaken about that. I just remember hearing about that briefly, which could suggest a BR mode, but it could just be a dynamic element in the map that like influences it, and you and your teammates can hop up in the tornado and get in the eye of the storm and start gunning mans down. That'd be pretty sick.
It would be. And you know what's crazy? Battlefield is like kind of the perfect game
do
to
something
have a
like
BR, because when you think about it, BRs have a lot of vehicles. They have a various range of weapons that are used. So it's like, but Battlefield's been doing that for a long time, just not in the BR form. So it's actually kind of the perfect game to do BR, in my
It
opinion.
depends on how you want to look at it, because like it technically is a battle royale. You're just not scavenging. You're still playing like they just announced as well in the trailer that it's going to be 128 players. So it's going back to classic Battlefield. So you're playing 64 v 64. So maybe it's not 100 people like randomly playing, but you're playing against 64 other people. So it's going to be massive. It's basically going to play like a BR game now that I think about it. Except you have classes instead of scavenging for weapons.
Yeah, I would say, I'm not gonna say I'm excited to play it. I'm gonna say I'm excited to see it. And if when I see the gameplay, if it looks the way that I'm envisioning it in my head, like if it's gonna play like the Battlefield that I know, just with more graphical fidelity and that same big map feel, and with BR, I mean, I'll probably pick it up. I probably will, but I have to see what that gameplay looks like first, and I want to hear like what type of modes they're gonna put on it. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. They didn't it's not like they showed a lot, but at the same time, it's at the same time, it's not like they showed so little where you're like, I don't know.
They played a card, they didn't reveal their hand.
Yeah, they left people enticed. Definitely, I would say that they left people enticed. Because now I'm really waiting. Like, okay, cool, you made a Michael Bay film for Battlefield, but like, what is the game gonna look like? So I'm definitely gonna be tuned into that.
Me too. I'm definitely gonna have my eye out on this.
Do you?
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask, do you have a favorite Battlefield game?
I'm not a huge Battlefield fan. I was more of a Call of Duty kid. So Bad Company 2 was like my favorite Battlefield that I played. I played the shit out of that one. But even if this game looks super solid, I'm probably not gonna pick it up because it's gonna be full price for a hot minute. That's my only contingency.
Oh, I'm definitely getting it on sale. I'm definitely getting on that Kingwin way, but
for sure.
But yeah, like
Silk Road, baby.
Oh, hey man, I don't know about all that. But yeah, I mean, I get it for the low ski on the Kingwin. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Bad Company 2 was. I've heard a lot of people say that was like their favorite one. Me, I'd have to say I would go with the mainstream answer, Battlefield 3. And
I don't think that's a bad answer. I think that one was solid too.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of Battlefield players' favorite Battlefield. Only reason I really got into Battlefield though was because for a long time it was free on Origin. I don't know if some people might not know that, but it was free on Origin. So I downloaded it when it was free, and I really liked it. I liked how you could, because at that time, a first-person shooter with like vehicles and like large-scale warfare, that was not a thing. And I had it on PC, so I had like the proper experience, even though my PC was kind of a shitter back when I had that game. Like I had a super shitter PC. It was something I had never like really played before. So I mean, it really did have my attention. It really did have a place in my gaming heart.
The only other like shooter that had vehicles like that was like maybe Halo.
Yeah, Halo was like the only one, and it wasn't nearly as advanced as
big,
Battlefield.
It wasn't as large.
Yeah, definitely not. But this kind of we talked about this in the pre-show. Well, not in the pre-show, but like before we were recording. There was a game on PS3 that they attempted like the Battlefield style of mass warfare, before like that was really a thing, like called Mag. I only played that game twice. I played that game
Yeah, they try to
twice.
take that to the extremes. They try to do 256 players, 128 v 128.
Bro, I gotta give it to them though, because they were trying something really because I remember when that came out and everybody was saying, bro, I don't know how this is gonna work. I've never played a game with this many people in it. It was really ambitious. I don't know if you remember or if the listeners remember.
I totally remember the hype around that. Everybody was talking about it just because of that one fact alone.
Like I was in how old was I when the PS3 came out? I was in middle school, I think. Middle school or like elementary school, like elementary going into middle school. And I just remember all the kids that were getting a PS3 because I had an Xbox until I got a PS3.
Man, PS3 came out at like $600. Only the rich white kids could afford it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. I was definitely... Funny story. When I got my 360, I literally got my 360 without a hard drive. So the way that I would play my games, bro, yo, the way... See, the thing...
I played that bitch through one time for the one time.
We were talking about this before we started recording too. Kids do not know what, like... the older generations had to go through just to like play their games. I remember I still have it to this day. It helps boost up my monitor, like give my monitor height. I still have my OG 360, but I had the Xbox 360 Elite. And if you remember, the Xbox 360 Elite came out with a bigger hard drive than the white one. The white one had like 20 gigabytes. The Elite had like, I think it was like 80 or something, but I didn't have any hard drive. I had to go buy one. So before I bought a hard drive, like before I had enough money to save up to buy a hard drive, I would go to the Rogers and like, well, for those who don't know, Rogers is like, back in the day, you used to be able to rent video games, kind of like Blockbuster. You used to be able to go in there, rent video games for sometimes as long as you wanted and just bring it back when you're ready. And I remember I used to rent like Transformers. I used to rent there was a game called Singularity. I really love that game. Just like a bunch of like, you know, goated Xbox 360 games. And before I had a hard drive, I would literally have to just have my Xbox 360 sitting there, or I would lose all of the progress. All of it.
You had to risk the red rings of death just to not lose your save.
Bro, I don't know how I never got red rings of death. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, a little tangent. But yeah, man, really ambitious. The whole idea that Mag was attempting was really ambitious, and they just really didn't have the power that the PS3 really needed to really pull it off. They didn't have the power. They probably didn't have like this server, like their servers probably weren't ready for it. So
yeah, there wasn't enough bandwidth. It was ahead of its time. But
Yeah.
it's something that could probably be executed now. I just can't imagine that they're willing to try something like that again.
Yeah, that was a really interesting game. Just kind of made me think about it a little bit.
Before we move on from the Battlefield trailer, there was another game trailer that I briefly just want to mention. That we didn't get to talk about it before the show because I forgot. So you haven't seen it, but there's a game that I'm really interested in called Tales of Arise. It's the next game in the Tales of franchise by Bandai Namco. And I'm really excited. It looks really, really good. It's a JRPG, like a Japanese role-playing game. And the characters look really cool. They showed the newest trailer that they dropped. I think it was the same day or like one day before or after the Battlefield trailer. The characters that they showed look really interesting. They showed us like the 6 main party members that you're going to be playing through the game with, and all I can say is I can't wait to spend another 200 fucking hours on a game that I don't need to be spending 200 hours in, but I'm going to.
That's one thing I always found interesting about JRPGs. JRPGs take up a lot of your time, like the Persona 5.
I'm on my second playthrough of P5 Royal, and I'm at 167 hours. Like, I've got like 250 hours in base Persona 5.
All those games take up so much. I remember I got a Super NES, Super SNES. Wait, no, why did I say Super SNES? Super NES. That I got a SNES Mini. Let me just okay. I got an SNES Mini when that was like big, and they had Chrono Trigger on it, and Chrono Trigger, for those who don't know, is like a classic. It's a very classic JRPG style game. I think it have a Japanese version, because I think
it's a JRPG. It was made in Japan.
Yeah,
it was just ported over here.
Yeah, it's a classic JRPG game. I actually really like the game. I like the story, but I've never finished the game because it's just so long. Like, bro, like so long, and there's a lot of leveling up you have to do, a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, JRPG games just take a lot of your time. I still haven't beat Persona 5. I started Persona 5. I like Persona 5, but same thing. I just haven't been able to finish.
Oh, that game's long as hell.
A lot of dialogue.
If you don't know what you're doing.
A lot of dialogue, bro. Oh my god. Yeah,
especially if you don't know what you're doing. Like, I played through Persona 5 Royal, and it's basically like the definitive version. And it took me like 140 hours to beat the game, speeding through pretty much every single dialogue conversation except for the new ones, because I know the whole game. I played the base game 3 times, so I know all the dialogue.
So wait, what's on the definitive edition? Does it have like what DLC? Like it just has extra dialogue, or what's on the definitive?
It has extra characters. The story is slightly altered, and it has extra like unlockable stuff.
Oh, okay, that sounds fine. Yeah.
And like the game mechanics are slightly updated, and it makes it makes it a little bit like it gets rid of some of the exploits that were in base P5 that people found, but makes the combat a little bit more technical.
Oh.
There's a lot more things you can do in combat.
Oh, so they kind of revamped the combat system.
Yeah, that's just like one thing that they did on top of like many things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds fine. I have to try and finish that game because, I mean...
Bro, it takes so long.
Yeah. I know. I know, bro. Just reading all of that dialogue, and then you get the fights.
I mean, that game is 99% like, so not 90, but 99. But like that game is like 90% voice acted, so like you're good. If you wanted to go back and play like Persona 4, for example, you have to read that entire game, and it's the same length.
Yeah, it's an interesting game, so I'm definitely gonna, when I have some time just to myself, I'm definitely gonna jump back into it, download it. Any other thoughts about any trailers in general, though? Battlefield 2042 or any other reveal trailers that we've seen over the past few days?
We can talk about this a little bit more on the... This is kind of hard to discuss on the E3 episode, but you know, because we had the Summer Games Fest things like just before E3.
Yeah.
They showed that new game from Software, Elden Ring, and that looks really interesting. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see it, but you know what? That sounds good, and we should probably save that for the next show.
We'll get into it on the E3 episode, but that was the only other thing that I saw, and I don't know if you know, From Software are the guys that make Dark Souls.
Really?
Yeah, so it's their next project. So that was like that was a nice little like pre-E3 thing that we got to digest, but the listeners will get to hear about that more in the E3 episode.
Yeah,
you guys have already heard about that.
Yeah, you've already heard about it. Don't worry. We time travelers.
Yo, we the Minutemen.
For real. But things that won't be getting shown for a long time. Well, actually, we've seen a JPEG or a GIF. I'll say it's a GIF.
Oh, damn. One GIF.
God of War Ragnarok has been delayed. Not too long.
Officially delayed.
Not too long. Nothing crazy. But 2022. And the kicker will be that it is cross-gen. So you do not need a PS5 to play the new God of War. I have some things to say about this, but I will let you start, Enigma. How do you feel about not only the delay, but the fact that the game is cross-gen?
You're gonna let me go first, sir? How kind of you.
Yeah.
Great.
Go
Wow.
ahead.
Shit. Let's start with the fact that it's delayed. I've been saying this game was getting delayed till next year at least for the past 5-6 months at least. Whenever they showed the game, maybe like a couple months after, I'd been saying that it was gonna get delayed. So this didn't surprise me. I saw this coming. The writing was on the wall, and they really hadn't shown anything in terms of like gameplay. They showed us one GIF. So I don't know why people were really expecting the game to come out in 2021. But the real kicker is this damn cross-gen announcement. I have a lot of opinions on the cross-gen thing. Firstly, they can't fully take advantage of the PlayStation 5's hardware. Normally that wouldn't be a big problem, between generations, but in the case of the PS5 to the PS4, where you have a whole ass SSD compared to a regular hard drive, there would be significant computing differences, to the point where they can't take advantage of the SSD the way that I would like them to, unless they're going to make two different versions of the game, but they're not. The other thing that's interesting is that, I don't know if it was Jim Ryan I think it was Jim Ryan, but it could have been the previous Sony head. But they very clearly stated that Sony's about generations, and PS4 is PS4 and PS5 is PS5, so they're only going to be making PS5 games for PS5. And now they've made so many cross-gen games. They announced that God of War is going to be cross-gen. They announced that Horizon's going to be cross-gen, Forbidden West, and not only does it show that Sony's really about their bag, like we've been saying and trying to show people, but it also shows that they really don't mind gimping the games and shooting them in the leg to make them playable on old hardware.
Oh man. Okay, so let's start. Before we even talk about the delay, let's start with how this game was presented to us. Sony has this habit, and it's very frustrating. It is very, very, very frustrating. Sony has this habit of showing people games that are 3-4 years out. They have a habit of doing this. This has been done a lot. Not saying that God of War Ragnarok is 3-4 years out, but they have done it before. They have done it before. This game was presented to us the first time we ever seen anything related to God of War. I'm just going to say God of War 2. The first time we seen anything related to God of War 2, it was literally a GIF of some little bit of wind blowing the Omega sign through. Like, that's not how you reveal that.
That's not a reveal. That's not a trailer.
Like, that's not how.
Then didn't they literally say coming 2021,
bro?
After that GIF, like really? You thought this was coming out in a year? That's crazy.
You know the funny thing? I guess I just have to paint my face and call myself Booby the fucking fool, because I don't know why I was so excited for that game to come out this year. That was one of the reasons I bought a PS5, was for God of War 2.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Like, okay, so yeah, they got all of our attention. They got the little GIF, God of War coming 2021. Cool, we waiting for it. 2020 starts to round off, and we haven't really heard anything about the game. So a lot of people are like, okay, if this game is dropping 2021, we should have gotten even just a little 20-second reveal trailer. Anything, CG, anything. Nothing. Quiet. Static.
What do you call those things?
Crickets.
Not those, but yes. Shit. What do you call those hay things?
The hay things?
In Western movies, the things that like.
Oh, tumbleweeds. Tumbleweeds.
Yes.
Tumbleweeds, bro. We ain't hear shit about that game. 2021 comes. You know, Sony puts out what? What did they put out so far? They put out Returnal and Ratchet and Clank. We didn't get to talk about Ratchet and Clank, but honestly, I haven't played it. I will get around to
haven't
playing it.
played it either.
Yeah, I'll get around to playing it. Once I get around to playing it, I will definitely talk about it. But
I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad that you brought that up. I want to segue about that after you finish your point.
yeah, we could definitely talk about Ratchet and Clank.
We're not going to talk about the game as a whole. I just want to talk about something specific related to that.
Oh yeah, for sure. So 2021 comes, Sony's dropping, their little sprinkles of games here and there.
Oh, and Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Oh yeah, and Spider-Man's Miles Morales. How could I forget? That's been my favorite funny.
Because it was good.
PS5 quote unquote, because that game is cross-gen too, but we're not going to talk about that. 2021 comes around and everyone's like, okay, is this game really coming out this year? Then we get the news that it's delayed. And then we get the news after everyone has already ran out and bought their PS5s. People have paid $1,000 retail for their PS5s, which is dumb because it's a piece of technology. If you have half of a brain and an IQ above 80, you'll know that anything that's technology gets produced and made millions of times over. Yeah, there's chip shortages and stuff like that right now, but
not gonna be forever.
Yeah, exactly. Just have some patience. Like, I'm pretty sure in 2022 they're gonna start cranking their machines for PS5s again. But regardless, people have gone out and bought their PS5s. I went out and bought my PS5. Enigma went out and bought his PS5. They then tell us, after everyone's done all of that, hey, you didn't even need a PS5 for this. You could have just kept your PS4 to play this game. And I think that is the second problem that I have. The first problem that I have is Sony showing games that they kind of know won't come out for a long time. They just throw it out there to say that, I don't know, I guess throw it out there to say that they have something. Exactly, yeah.
Knowing that it's coming.
Yeah. Which is annoying. But regardless, that's the first thing that I'm just kind of annoyed about. The second thing is them being disingenuous about how these rollouts of these games are actually gonna go. Why would you? Once again, as Enigma said, they were preaching up, down, left, right, and center. We believe in generations. You need the PS5. You need the crazy SSD, which is 2010 hardware, by the way. SSDs.
Yeah, they're really acting like it's like new gen hardware.
Bro, side note, but do you remember when they first did they did the technical conference at, I forget what that expo was called, but it's for game developers and stuff like that. It's a really technical conference. It's for
the really boring presentation where only tech nerds who care about what's built into the the hardware would care about it. Yeah. I cared, by the way. Yeah. I am the tech nerd that I'm talking about.
Yeah, no offense to them, but it was really for the technical people, the people that will actually be producing games and optimizing games for this console. And that I forget that guy's name, but the guy with the bowl cut, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Cut, and he taught real soft and real boring. And he just kept saying, bro, the SSD. Yes, it does make games faster and it loads textures and stuff like that faster, but the SSD is not gonna up the graphical fidelity. It's not gonna help the game run smoother. That's not what hard drives do. That's not what storage does, except for RAM.
Read and write memory.
Yeah, it's not, you know what I'm saying? So, but regardless, they were preaching it's all about generations. And come to find out, you can run God of War 2 on a base PS4. And the base PS4 was already struggling to run God of War 2018. So how do you think it's gonna fare with a game that's supposed to have even better textures? It's supposed to have more assets because it's
a game that should, for all intensive purposes, be more graphically and technologically impressive than its predecessor.
Yeah. So they're going to. see, that's the thing. I don't know exactly how game development works, but I feel like if you have one group of people working on two separate things, the PS5 and the PS4 version, I don't know if they're going to outsource the PS4 version, but if they do have one group of people working on two different versions of a game, you're going to get stretched thin. That's just like, that's common sense. If you have to work on two really intensive things at the same time and meet a deadline by that, because I'm pretty sure Sony's not going to keep wanting to pushing this game back. They're eventually going to want it out. So at one point they will have a deadline. Working towards a deadline, that's very stressful, and you know, people will
they're definitely
corners.
not going to split it into two teams. They're going to do one development cycle and then try to push out the game on like as many platforms as they can. That's typically how it goes. Like typically you develop the game like with your team, and then you set aside like a couple people to specifically look at porting it from like the way that you have it, like either the raw code or like the PlayStation version or the PC version, whatever you built first. You have a smaller team that just looks to port that from one version to another. That's typically what you do.
Man, I don't know.
But that's why Cyberpunk suffered, because it was built on high-end PCs and then they downscaled it, and then it just didn't work.
That's
when
what
they
I'm saying.
tried to downscale everything.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've heard some people say, yeah, this is not gonna hurt the game. This is not gonna hurt the game. But yeah, look at Cyberpunk. You have this game that's so intensive and really should be for Xbox Series S and X, and PS5 and PC, but then they had to roll it back all the way to OG Xbox, and we know how like OG Xbox is like stifled. I have
Yeah,
the
the original Xbox One and the PS4 are super anemic.
Yeah.
Super weak console.
So I don't know how that's gonna work. Even Horizon Forbidden West, they came out and said that game was supposed to be for PS4.
That's the other thing, right? Like,
Yo.
they said that shit about generations, but like, you don't just all of a sudden be like, oh, there's a God of War like PS4 version. Like, this was in the works from the game was confirmed. So like, why did you even make that statement about caring about generations and shit?
Man, they put that Jake Paul gotcha hat. Yeah. Games on PS4 too.
Horizon as well. Horizon like was always planned to be on PS4. The game's supposed to come out this year. You're really gonna tell me they weren't working on a PS4 version from the beginning? There's no way.
I remember I heard someone say something really interesting on another podcast, and it really made me think. The life cycle of the Xbox One and PS4 were like 6 years, roughly 5-6 years. We're pushing into like 2022, and games are still going to be on OG PS4. So we're almost halfway through the life cycle of these consoles, and games are still coming out for the OG consoles. So because usually how Sony does is, or usually just every game company in general, like every game in general, it starts kind of slow, and then when you learn how to fully utilize the hardware, that's when we really start to get really good games, like how at the end of the PS3 we got The Last of Us and stuff like that. Like they really learn how to use the hardware. So like, when are we gonna be getting those like really standout breakout games? I don't know, maybe I'm just being a bit pessimistic, but like this is just,
I think it's interesting that you bring that up, because I would also say that like in some aspects some Sony studios are being ambitious, and that's why I said I wanted to talk about Ratchet and Clank a little bit. I don't want to talk about like the story or anything like that, because like I said, I haven't had a chance to play it. I just have it. But I do want to talk about the fact that this game being specifically built for PS5 shows that it was made for PS5. Like, you can see this in the trailer, so it isn't spoiling, but in some of the levels, it's called Rift Apart for a reason, right? Like, it's about not time travel, but dimension hopping. And in some levels, you literally like see a rift come up and you go through it and a whole ass different level pops up, and it's instant.
And that's something you could only do with like the processing power of the PlayStation 5. That wouldn't be possible on a PS4 at all.
Yeah. That
You'd
would
have
be
like 5-minute loading screen on the PS4.
definitely. That is a really good instance of how the PS5 power would get used.
And it shows that there is a legitimate like drawback to making these games cross-gen.
Imagine if they had to make that for PS4.
It would be impossible.
With the standard hard drive.
Yeah, it would be literally impossible.
But
You
that's
can't load
what
an
they're
entire level.
doing for these big ticket games. I don't understand it. And people are trying to justify it too.
Yeah, people are trying to act like it makes sense. It's so wild.
I don't know. It's not like how back in the day they would put like 2K14 had like, I don't like remember when like 2K14 came out and it was crazy, like it had all the lighting effects and everything, and then you had like the Xbox 360 and PS3 version of 2K14, which was like what we were accustomed to back at that time, like literally night and day. You know what I'm saying? So don't know what's going on over there. But I mean, Microsoft's kind of doing it too. But
A little bit, yeah.
yeah.
But they never like came out and outright made the statement that they're about generations and they want to move past it and whatever. They didn't say all that. Like Microsoft has made very clear, concentrated efforts to preserve previous game generations.
Yeah. And one thing I actually like about Microsoft is they let you use all of the old peripherals too. Like if you have an Xbox Series X, you can use OG Xbox One controllers. Like Sony was like, oh no, you need a new bro, the only real thing that Sony really did with that PS5 controller is, what was it? I forget what it's called, but it's adaptive trigger.
Yeah, you can use the PS4 controller though.
Can you really?
Yeah.
I swear they said you couldn't.
You can.
You can?
I only have one DualShock 5 controller, but I play Dragon Ball with my friends all the time when they come over.
Okay, yeah, they better fix that, because I remember when the PS5 was first coming out and they were like, no, you can't use any of your accessories.
I think you might not be able to play PlayStation 5 games with it. I haven't tried, so that might be the caveat. Yeah. But also, like, the adaptive trigger thing is kind of silly. It's cool in some games, like it was pretty cool in Miles, but overall I think it's kind of silly. I think it's kind of gimmicky. And if that's what they're using to like hold us back so we can't like use DS4 controllers on like PS5 games, then fuck that. That's stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. Sony, they make really good games, but sometimes I feel like some of their decisions that they make
are super anti-consumer.
Are just not even anti-consumer, but they just get in their own way of like just making a better experience. I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, from a business standpoint, they announced the Cosmo Red and Midnight Black controllers, and everybody wants the black color scheme, so that controller is gonna sell like hotcakes. So I mean, it kind of makes sense to force people to need PlayStation 5 controllers and then be like, oh, by the way, we're releasing 2 new color schemes. They're gonna be like, I think I don't know if it's one of them's like $10 more expensive than a controller normally is.
What?
Yeah, one of them has. I'm like 99% sure one of them has a $10 increase tag.
Yo, Sony better get out of my face with that shit, bro.
I want to say it's the red one, but I feel like the only reason I heard about it is because it's the black one, and that's what everybody wants.
Man, that's not even right. They raised the price of games. The controllers are out the ass expensive. Nah, bro. Yo, Sony need to get on my face with that shit, bro.
Miss me with that bullshit.
But do we have anything else to say about God of War Ragnarok, cross-gen games in general?
No, for the most part, I got pretty much everything off my chest. Screw Jim Ryan and Sony execs for saying that they're about generations and then making a bunch of freaking games cross-gen, because that's really holding back gaming. And if you really want to see the best of what your studios have to offer and really utilize your hardware, then let them make dedicated games for your hardware.
True.
But I don't know. I think that's everything for the gaming section, unless you had any extra little tidbits you wanted to add.
Nah, Jim Ryan need a dick. Unless you give me a bag, then I'll work with you. I'm cool.
Yeah. If you cutting us a check, then Ryan, then we could have conversation.
Oh, bro, I love my PS5, bro. I play that John every day and night. Wee.
Sponsor streams and everything.
Oh man.
You see them Slim Jim sponsorships? I'm gonna get a Slim Jim Ryan sponsorship.
Ooh wee, Slimmy Jimmy. Man, but moving on to music. You know, it's been a very interesting week for music because we've had some very notable releases. We'll start by talking about Culture 3 though. I have heard all of Culture 3. Enigma, have you heard all of Culture 3 or no?
So I listened to a couple tracks off of it here or there, but I haven't listened to the entire project. I'm not the hugest Migos fan, but with that being said, I'd like to give you the floor on this one.
Yeah, I did listen to this album. I wouldn't say I'm a huge Migos fan, but I have been listening to Migos since 2013, 14, back when Offset used to go to jail like every other month.
Oh, you mean when homie got left off Bad and Bougie and then thought he didn't get left off Bad and Bougie?
Oh man, bruh. Oh, that was interesting times. Interesting times, bruh. But regarding Culture 3, I mean, the whole Culture series 1, 2, and 3 it's been interesting to see it play out. Culture 1, obviously, I feel like that's still the Migos.
That's like goated. That's their cemented, like, it started the saga.
Yeah, I don't want to say irrefutable best album because I feel like some people might say YRN or something else, but you know, that really cemented them as the Migos.
Yeah, like Culture, the original Culture album is for Migos what like Man on the Moon is for Kid Cudi.
Yeah, definitely. And then they followed up with Culture 2. People weren't really feeling Culture 2, but the thing was, Culture 2 was actually, to me, it was decent. It just wasn't like the best showing because it kind of felt like Culture 1.5. But one thing I do like about Culture 3 is Culture 3 kind of sounds like it is the Migos, so it's not like you're getting different content per se, but I will say that the flows have definitely changed. There are different flows. They're using some very interesting flows. Straightening, I'll say straightening because that's how they say it. Straightening, the song is called Straightening, but straightening.
Oh, I was like what?
Yeah, straightening is it's a really good song. I like that song. It was I guess you could say a single because they had dropped a video for it. They dropped that song and a video before the album came out. I really like that song. Regarding songs that were actually on the album that weren't singles or anything, Having Our Way with Drake, that was a really good song. Drake took like half of the song. Like you would have thought it was a Drake song if you didn't see the title, because he literally
he had his bag on these features this year.
Yeah, it was like that song is like 4.5 minutes long and he's on like 2.5 minutes of the song.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
he really took that track over.
Yeah, he really took it over. But you know, it's Drake. Drake usually does that. Well, sometimes no. His presence does. He kind of has that Travis Scott presence, if you know what I'm talking about. Where
like Drake's on a track.
Mm-hmm. If Drake is on a track, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it from the type of beat that it is, the type of flow that's being used from the other artists. You're gonna kind of hear it because they're gonna set. It's kind of like how in Little League they have, you know, they throw like the ball like super underhanded so the kid can hit it as good as well as they can. You know, it's kind of like just like an underhand throw.
Drake, you know what it is, and this is how I would like differentiate between like the Drake effect and the Travis effect. Is like Drake sets a tone, Travis has a vibe. That's why like you can also catch tracks where like they'll use Travis's ad libs, but he's not on the song. Like there's a Big Sean track on his latest album that I think it's ZTFO. Like
Zen the fuck out. Yeah, Zen the fuck out.
ZTFO, he uses a bunch of Travis ad libs, but Travis isn't on that track. He's only on Lithuania.
That kind of reminds me of Travis Scott could actually be like Swiss Beats. If y'all know what I'm talking about.
That's not who I thought you were gonna say, but yes.
Who'd you think I was gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say Sway Lee.
Sway Lee? No, I actually like Sway Lee when Sway Lee actually does features. When Sway Lee does
Me too. I love when he does features.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Sway Lee's more like Swiss Beats, because Sway Lee can actually come on and give you a really good verse or a really good hook. But I do think Travis Scott can really be like a Swiss Beats, because like Swiss Beats don't even really be coming on the song and saying nothing. Like on Uproar, that man literally got on the song, was just like, showtime, let's go, let's get it. Like, bro, like it just made the song sound way better. So yeah, you're kind of right. Travis Scott does have that vibe effect where it just kind of heightens the song even more.
Yeah,
it's
lit. Like all those, like the ad libs with the just the way that his auto tune is and stuff. It's iconic.
Straight up,
it's become iconic at this point. Straight up.
That's an old one.
Yeah.
He don't really do that one no
crazy.
more. But yeah, man. I mean, I really did like that song though. Having Our Way, type shit with Migos and Cardi B. I'm not afraid to admit this. I like Cardi B. I'm not the biggest fan of her music. Right. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of her music. I don't know why, but like guys just don't like admitting that they listen to like not female artists, because a lot of guys listen to like female R&B, but like female rap artists, like a Meg Thee Stallion. I don't listen to Meg Thee Stallion all the time, but I feel like she has one or two good songs. But yeah, like a Cardi B, like I like Cardi B. I like Bodak Yellow. I like some of the other songs that she's made.
I mean, hip hop also has a lot of like toxic masculinity and shit. Like that's more like and this is a personal opinion, but I mean it's pretty prevalent. But I think the more popular hip hop is more either fantasizing women or like calling women like bitches and stuff. Like I think those are the more popular songs. So then when you see a female artist coming into that like genre and that lane and trying to like dominate and do something, a lot more people are going to have pushback to it, because there's already that negative stigma towards women in the media.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. That you hit it right on the head. I don't know. It's not really that like I listen to Cardi B, but yeah, there are songs where I definitely think Cardi B did really well, and if they came on I wouldn't skip them, or some of them I've even saved. But yeah, I did really like that song, Type Shit. That was a decent song. Malibu with Polo G, that song was decent. The What You See song with Justin Bieber, I didn't really like that song, I'm not gonna lie to you. That wasn't really my favorite song. Yeah,
I feel that. I don't really... ever since DJ Khaled kind of got Quavo and Bieber on a track together, like, and that was fine, because I'm the One was something different. Like, that was just a different vibe. That was some DJ Khaled, like, putting stuff that works together. But, yeah, ever since they got together on that track, they've always tried to do, like, stuff together, and it's been weird.
Yeah, they don't... I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to like recreate the vibe, but I don't know. Modern Day.
It's not a dynamic duo that hurts.
Yeah.
That hits, sorry.
Yeah, that's true. Modern Day, though, I don't know how I skipped that song on the track list. That song, I would say that's probably the most hyped song out of anything that was on this track list, because I don't know if you heard it, but they did put out like a little snippet of this song before.
It was Modern Day.
Yeah, it wasn't called Modern Day. It was like, let's take a modern day stroll. This is the modern day ho.
Okay.
This is Yes. Yeah, they put out a little snippet for this song before, and you know, it sounded insane. I like this song as well. This is definitely gonna be a song I'm gonna play throughout the summer for sure.
Like, this is definitely like an album for like the mandem, you know? Like, they got the Forlorn Pop Smoke feature. They got YoungBoy on here. Like, they got Future on here. Like, this is for the mandem.
I feel like if you're... I say this a lot. I'm starting to realize I say this a lot, because the thing is, there's very few artists that are like a Drake or a Travis Scott that can actually transcend not only their own fan base and reach out into other fan bases, but people that like other genres, like a rock, like a pop, like insert whatever other genre you want to say. There's very few artists that can do that. But if you are a Migos fan, I will think, one, not only you will enjoy this, but you'll enjoy this a lot more than Culture 2. I will say that.
Fair. I think that's a very fair opinion to have with the tape.
Yeah.
They're definitely more in their bag with this one, and in and around Culture 2 time, they were having a lot of like issues with label and management, and those issues never really got publicly like addressed on how they got solved. But I have to assume that at this point they've gotten their QC shit solved.
Yeah, QC's been going through a lot of stuff. Didn't Lil Baby threw some shots at, who was it, man? Their whole QC label is just, they're going.
I knew it was a finesse when Migos, who were the biggest acts at the time, were going through label troubles because the lawyer that was signed to them was working for their label undisclosed. I was like, damn, you put these bands in a fucking trap. Like, that's literal entrapment.
Gave him that Suge Knight treatment.
This guy was having them sign contracts, and he was like, yeah, no, this contract's blessed for you. I screwed the label over. Don't even worry about it. Meanwhile, he's in the label's bag, and the label's like, yeah, bro, just go give them this contract that we signed. They're gonna get like 5% total of everything, and we're gonna keep the rest. That's not literally what happened. I don't know the details of the contracts, but that's basically what happened.
Yeah, I do remember when they were talking about that, like we won off the label. But yeah, QC's having like a whole civil war right now.
They're having a freaking identity crisis.
Yep. But this is just my first impressions. I don't know if I'm gonna come back and give this album a full review because it's the Migos. I'm gonna say that I do enjoy it. There are some songs that I definitely did save. There are some songs I will be playing for the summer because they're just like a whole
I was gonna
vibe.
say, like, it's summer, we out here, we gonna be driving windows down, tracks bumping, so the Migos are gonna get played. That's facts.
Especially since things are getting opened up over here a little bit. Yeah, some of these
We
songs
outside.
yeah, we are definitely outside. We are showing ass this year. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, I will say that I really like this. Well, yeah, I like this. I like this album. There will be definitely songs that I will be saving and songs that I will be playing throughout the summer. Enigma, I know you said you didn't listen through the whole thing, but overall, would you say that you liked what you heard? You really liked what you heard?
Yeah, I think throughout like your description of it, I had a decent amount of opportunities to kind of chime in and give my opinions on the album for someone who hasn't listened to it front to back. I think that as an album, like I said, it's definitely for the mandem. Like, it's for the streets, it's for the summer. We out here. They knew what the situation was going into it. The features that they have on it are pretty hot. I like the names, and I'm definitely gonna have to go back and give this a listen. But there were more albums that dropped other than just the ones that we talked about, like that we have on the show notes, that I'm also gonna like mention and bring up later. So I just didn't have a chance to get through this album in its entirety. I have to go back and listen to everything that's dropped lately because a lot of music's been coming out.
Yeah, I totally understand, bro. Music is starting to heat up a little bit. I think it's honestly because, as I said, stuff is starting to lift up a little bit.
Yeah, also restrictions loosening up means that shows are going to be happening more.
Yeah.
Like, shows are already starting to happen again. And artists want to do that, right? Because like they missed out on basically a whole year of touring revenue.
I heard that Blueface was like on like his last $1 million because he wasn't doing no shows or nothing crazy. Little tangent.
Maybe, but I mean, like, Blueface also seems like a type of person who's very irresponsible with his money and
definitely.
let the 15 minutes of fame from freaking... What was his song even called? I don't remember anymore.
Tatiana and
yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm
Bust
thinking
Down.
of. Same song.
That's not the same song.
Yeah, it's Bust Down, Tatiana,
Oh,
Bust
wow.
Down. That's what it is.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, that's the song I'm thinking of. Anyways, he got his 15 minutes of fame off that, and I don't think he was responsible with his money, and doesn't seem like the type of rapper who invested in things well.
Yeah,
and probably spent his advances. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on less than $1 million. And when has Blueface even been in conversation again, other than for being on Adin Ross's stream?
Yeah, he had that little he was on Aiden's stream, and then he has that like OnlyFans show or something like that. I don't know.
And there was like that one meme of him looking super tired with I think it was Uzi or someone. He was partying with someone. He looked bust. Maybe it wasn't Uzi,
but the meme was like, I don't know what perkies they had Blueface rolling off of, but he looks like he wants to go home so bad, and he looked like he was about to cry.
Man, hey man, sometimes you have to party and it just hits you. Be like, bro, like I don't know, I'm tired, bro. Like you just get socially spent. But you know, that's another story for another day. Yeah, a lot of music did drop. Any other final thoughts about Culture 3 before we go into the other album that was really notable this
Nope,
week?
I think it's time that we segue into that next album that a lot of people were anticipating, and even I was a little bit excited for, because one of my friends, a friend of a friend has some production credits on this album, so I was really excited, and that is Polo G's album, Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Honestly, this album was not what I expected from a Polo G album. It's not what I expected from, like, in the sense that it felt very mainstream appeal. I don't think that it was outside of Polo G's comfort zone, or like stuff that he doesn't normally make, especially considering that he just dropped that single before this, Rap Star or whatever.
Yeah, Rap Star.
And it like the theme of this album really goes well with that kind of song. Like, it all kind of fits in there. It all makes sense. So it didn't surprise me, but it was also just something that felt very targeted and mainstream. Excuse me, I can't talk tonight.
Yeah, it's cool, bro. It's cool. Don't worry.
Felt like it was trying to run up the charts, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Should I give my hot take on Polo G?
Oh, give your hot
Should I
take.
give my hot take, bro?
Let's get the pan searing.
I feel like the Polo G fans gonna hate me, bro, but I have nothing bad. Disclaimer. I'm gonna hit this with some disclaimers, because I actually feel like I'm gonna be kind of harsh, and people are gonna say, bro, you're a Polo G hater, but I'm really not. I respect Polo G. Polo G is one of the up and coming artists. I don't group him in with like Corday in terms of content. I group him in with Corday in terms of like the same kind of generation. Yeah,
they're the same generation of rappers.
So if you're coming up with like a Corday, and I mean, I can't like the people who are coming up off the top of my mind, I can't really think of who else, but Corday is like the really notable one. I would say another one is like Sofago, but you know, we'll
I would say that there's other rappers in this generation, but they're not as poppin' as Corday. Like, I'd say that rappers who are in that generation are like Tekka. Tekka's not as hot as Corday, but Tekka's in that same generation.
Yeah.
Bro, because I love Lil Tekka.
Yeah. Tekka definitely.
Lil Got It.
Lil Got It. Yeah, Lil Got It. Keed is not on that level though. Keed is not on that level. Let's be serious. I love Keed. Hey, see, that's the thing. I'm harsh with a lot of these people because I like them and I like their music.
I want to see them do good shit.
If I hear Keed drop something that was shit, I'm gonna say it was shit. If Key does not drop something that was like Big Tipper with Young Thug, I'm gonna say it. I'm so sorry, bro. But let's get into it. Anyway, regardless, he's in the class with Polo G, YBN Corday, and Tekka. I would say they came up relatively around the same time. Tekka a little bit before Polo G, but roughly the same age.
Polo has a bit more of a wave too. Like, Tekka had the ransom thing, but it feels like Tekka's kind of, especially with his last project, it wasn't as well received by the general public. So it kind of feels like, even though Never Left is popping off, we talked about that last episode, it feels like his wave is a little bit less, whereas Polo G's got a huge wave behind him.
Yeah, he's hot right now for sure. So I say all that to say this album is mid. This album is
kind of mid.
And I didn't finish it because the album is mid.
You made it like halfway.
Yeah, I made it 10 tracks through. Some of these tracks I've heard because they did come out before the album came out, like Rap Star, Get No Fucks. Some of these songs I did hear before the album came out. And I mean, they're good. Polo G,
they're all right.
But the thing about Polo G is the same thing that I'm saying about Meg Thee Stallion. Is it feels like their music is kind of, do I want to say it? Kind of one-dimensional.
Okay.
Their music is kind of one-dimensional. Like,
you're gonna have to elaborate on that before the Polo G fans in the comment. Yo, I already hear them typing in the comments.
See, that's the thing. And there's nothing wrong with music being one-dimensional, because I'm not expecting you, as I don't know how old Polo G is, but I'm not expecting you to be at your young age and have an idea of what you want your music to be like, and then just jump in some totally different lane just to give us something different. Do what you know how to do well, but you gotta like freshen it up, bro. Like, do it differently. Like the thing with Meg Thee Stallion, how many times can you talk about being a thought, being on your hot girl summer shit, you know, talking about driving the boat, getting these niggas to eat your kitty? How many times can you talk about that in the same sort of type of beat before it gets stale? And even the Meg Thee Stallion fans are saying it's getting stale. I don't know how long it's gonna take for the Polo G fans to say it's starting to get a little stale. We'll have to see.
He's only 22, by the way, so he's still young, bro.
He's young. He's definitely. He definitely. I feel like he has a decently, a decent career, a length left for him. For sure. I'm not saying like Polo G is gonna like fade off in like the next year or two. I'm just saying it's kind of one-dimensional. And I guess the reason I'm being so hard on this album, because the funny thing is we just talked about Migos, and people would argue that Migos is like one of the most one-dimensional groups on earth. But
that's pretty accurate.
The thing about Polo G and why I'm being so hard is he is touted as one of the greatest young generational rappers coming out. But the music on this album, at least, is just I feel like it's not.
It doesn't hold up to that greatness.
It's not holding up to that standard. Maybe I'm putting him up to a standard that I shouldn't be putting him up to so early on in his career. But with the way that not only people are positioning him, but he's positioning himself. Like, look at the title of these albums: Hall of Fame, GOAT. Like, bro, I'm sorry, I'm gonna hold you to that standard.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Another thing, we were talking about this in the pre-show. Bro, why is half of this album features? Like,
okay, here's the thing. We talked about this in the pre-show, but while we were talking about the Migos album, I calced it. The Migos album has 8 features and is 19 songs, which is 42%. So it's only like 2 more features. It's almost the same amount. It's just the Migos album had it more well spread out. I did the math. I did the math. I did the calculations, and I was like, oh shit.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, you're right. But see, I don't know. See, that's the thing. Maybe I'm holding him up too high to a standard, because nothing
also,
wrong.
Migos are like well established in the game, so I expect 8 to 10 features from a Migos project, like Culture 3.
Plus,
it's the end of a saga. It's the third part of a chapter, right?
I feel like they are feature artists. They are feature artists. I have no problem with hearing Migos and Drake, Migos and Travis Scott, Migos and Sway Lee, Migos and whoever else. That's kind of the music that Migos makes. If you are saying you are the GOAT, if you are saying you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and you are the French Montana that can rap, like, bro, like, this literally reminds me of French Montana. Like, bro, see, if people is gonna hate me for saying this, Polo G right now is he's reminding me of a French Montana that can rap. Like, bro, like, I'm just so sorry to say, like, why are there so many features on this album? So many.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually a pretty fair assessment. I don't know if it's a fair comparison to make, and I know that the fanboys are about to jump on you in the comments, about to get devoured, but I definitely see where the comparison comes from. I can see how you feel that way. I don't know. There were too many. I only say that there are too many features on this project because it's like it's not his first album, but they're gonna call it his debut album because it's the album that comes out now that he's popping.
Yeah.
And they're gonna treat it like that. And if it's your like debut project, you need to show us what you can do, not show us what you can get together. You know what I mean? Unless that's the vibe that you want. Like if you want to be known as a feature artist too, you want to be like the Migos and always be known for having banger features. Because Travis Scott has that. Travis Scott, sure, he established himself in his early career, but like when you get a Travis project, even if you don't see all the feature names, like what he did on Astroworld for some weird shit, you know you're gonna get some banger features on a Travis project.
Amen.
So if you wanna be known for getting banger features, that's one thing. But you can't be out here calling yourself GOAT and Hall of Famer when your first couple projects are carried by features.
Don't even get it twisted. Travis Scott back in like Al Faro before the rodeo days, he was holding those projects up on his own.
No, I'm keeping it a buck. That's what I said. Like he had his own establishment beforehand.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just saying
like,
that when you go into a new Travis album, like when Utopia drops, I know I'm getting banger features. I know that Drake's probably going to be on it 99%. I know that Sway's probably going to be on it unless he's still mad about the sicko mode thing. I would be. I'd be still kind of cheap.
Makes sense.
But it's Travis Scott, so you kind of got to just hold your L and take the bag.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like Polo G. Don't for the listeners, don't misinterpret me being very hard and judgmental as me being a hater, because I'm not. I like Polo G. I like what he stands for. I like the vibe that he's trying to accomplish. But bro, like, if you really want to separate yourself, you're gonna have to establish yourself as someone that can hold a project on your own. I just thought of this. What if on Take Care, I think that album was like, what, 17 tracks, I want to say? Something like that?
Yeah, 17, 18.
What if on Take Care, 10 of those tracks had features?
They probably. Honestly, I don't even want to make that comparison because, like, low-key, I feel like it might have. It had bare features now that you think about it.
It didn't have... It honestly, it
damn, you really want to start running through them? Because
we can look through it.
Rihanna, The Weeknd. Who else was on Take Care?
It was Rihanna, The Weeknd,
Lil Wayne,
and
Nicki Minaj.
That's it.
The Weeknd, Rihanna, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Rick Ross, Birdman, Kendrick Lamar.
No, Birdman's features does not count. Birdman's features.
Yes, it
Birdman literally got on this. Okay, hold on. We're counting this. Birdman literally got on the song and talked about how he was a baller and a stunner. Come on, bro. We're not counting that. Bro, we're not counting that.
You asked how many features were on the thing.
God.
It's an 18.
My God, bro.
It's an 18-track album. Okay, even if you drop Birdman, Andre 3000, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, Kendrick Lamar, The Weeknd, Rihanna, yeah, that's still a pretty decent amount of, and Lil Wayne's on here like twice, so that's pretty still. Yeah, as I thought, there's actually a decent amount of features on that album, to be honest.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Listen, it's not no freaking Polo G Hall of Fame amount. It's not no Hall of Fame amount. Listen, I don't even know why I'm sitting here advocating for this, because it's not like I'm saying that the album is good. I think it was okay. All I'm saying is the man could have carried the project by himself. I agree with that opinion, so I don't even know why we're digressing about this.
Once again, let me say this. I don't hate Polo G. I respect Polo G. I like what he's doing.
Yes, sir.
I just feel like if you are making your quote-unquote debut project, people are going to see this as his debut project. They're going to see this as the project where he literally steps into his own. You can't be doing stuff like this where you literally have half the album is just features. You can't do that, bro. You just can't do it. Can't do it. And you know what? You know what I will do? I will go and listen to this second half again. I will go and listen to it. I'll listen to it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna have to give it another chance. Just cause.
Like, even if I gotta drag my ears to glass and I don't like this second half, I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish it.
Yeah, because at least at that point, then you really know, like, moving forward, what Polo's saying for the full project. You have a full understanding of it. You know what I mean?
Maybe I'm being too hard, bruh. But I mean, if I've heard half the album and I'm not really feeling it, I mean, these features might be good, but like, how much Polo G are we getting? That's the real question that I have. How much Polo G are we really getting? But from what I heard, mid. Like the songs that I heard from before, you know, Get No Fucks. I'm trying to remember what the other one was. Get No Fucks, Rap Star. Rap Star was kind of like some radio stuff, but I mean, it was still,
that was some radio stuff for sure.
It was still okay. It was still okay. There's some radio. I call it radio rap. There's some radio rap that I actually really.
You call it pardon?
Radio rap.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, there's some of that I do like. So yeah, mid from me. Enigma, you said.
Yeah, mid from me too. Mid from me.
Okay, so
it's all right.
Yep, that's just how I'm feeling about that.
Because it's his debut project, it's worth a second listen, but we'll see. We'll definitely see what's up.
Yeah.
The trajectory of his career can go either way from here. It's not set in stone.
Yeah. You said that you did want to talk about some albums that did, some music in general that did drop around this time that you really want to get to. Did you?
Yeah, because there were actually two other albums that dropped in and around the same time as Migos and Polo G. Like, Migos dropped last week as we're recording this, and Polo G dropped this week, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think they dropped the same day. Oh no, I am wrong. They did both.
Yeah, they dropped the same day. Yeah, they dropped the same night.
Something dropped last week. I can't remember, but Pierre dropped an album. The Life of Pierre 5 actually came out.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting project. You know, there's Playboy Cardi and Uzi features on it. I don't know who Shark is, but that song was alright. Drunk and Nasty. I'm not the hugest Pierre Bourne fan when I actually hear Pierre like rap on the tracks, but like, I fuck with Pierre's production, you know? I want Pierre to come out here. So I don't mind. He's in his bag. And like, these are just things I wanted to mention quickly. I don't have a very strong opinion on these things. And what was it? Was it Lil Got It that also dropped a tape? I think it was Lil Got It. And the only reason I know that is because my man had 2 Nav features on there.
2?
Turnt and Turnt, which was fire, and the new song that they dropped that they showed a snippet of before, which is Collages, which also had Millie Golightly on it.
Really? I like Millie Golightly. She's a good singer.
Yeah, it was Millie Golightly, Lil Got It, and Nav. That track.
I'm gonna have to listen to that. I don't really have anything. Well, no. Tony Snow did drop a new album. That man works hard. He's one of the hardest working rappers out right now. Dropped another album.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's facts. Yeah. That's super facts.
I don't know how he has the time to drop all these albums. But yeah, he dropped a new album. From what I've heard, I haven't gotten the chance to finish it. I'm like 90% through. It was good. You know, I like Tony Snow though. I like his production. He uses a lot of cash beats. So yeah, if you like that type of music, then go listen to it. But yeah, that's it from me for music recommendations. I don't really want to go too in depth. Keep the show moving.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this on the last show, but Killy dropped an EP and it's like 15 tracks or something, and that shit hits too if you're into like Toronto rap. Killy has a very distinctive sound, so not everybody likes that, but
yeah, I gotta listen to that. I didn't even know he dropped the EP.
It's good too. It's Killstreak 2, so if you listen to his first Killstreak project,
It's very similar in style. Oh, you did know. We talked about it because
Oh yeah, we did. I just didn't get to listen to it yet.
Thing.
Yeah, I just didn't get to listen to it. Yeah. I have to listen to it.
Because I didn't know. I don't know why I read his name and couldn't realize that it was Star-Lord until you told me. But once you told me, I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, that does say Star-Lord.
Yeah, he does like that. He does that.
An X in the middle instead of an O.
Yeah, I think that's some Miami shit. I think Miami. I don't really want to say that word out here, but I think the Miami man started that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's really it for the music section. So, with that being said, I think it's good for us to move on to the pop culture.
Yeah, pop culture. Well, I mean, just like music, it has been a very eventful past few weeks.
It's been crazy. Social media's been busting.
Logan Paul Mayweather. By the time we put this out, you guys have probably already seen the fight, but it was 8 rounds. I want to say 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, I think round? It was. Was it? Dang. Once you said 3 or 4, now I'm not sure, but it was one of the two.
I feel like it was 3. But yeah, 8 rounds. Logan Paul went 8 rounds. Well,
we'll get into that.
He went 8 rounds with Mayweather. Big fight. Both of them boys walked away making a lot of money.
More money than some of us will
ever touch. Yeah, ever touch. Ever. But how did you?
Not me though. Y'all stay broke.
I'm dead. I feel you. We trying to chase this check. But how did you feel about this fight? Did you watch it live or did you see the highlights?
So here's the thing. I didn't watch this fight live.
Really?
Because I didn't want to pay for it, and I'm not gonna illegally watch the fight. Of course, you know I would never do that. Within the first 3 minutes of it being over, I saw every single thing on Twitter. Let's pretend like this is Earth 2 and I did watch the fight. We're gonna talk about it as if I did watch the fight, okay, guys? So just bear with me here. Although you all know I didn't watch the fight because I didn't pay for it. But you know, it was okay until I saw freaking Logan get clocked in the side of the jaw and get straight held up. I saw Mayweather whisper in this man's ear, "Hey baby, we got more money to make. You better not fall dead."
Give him that little pep talk.
And it really had me thinking, did this man only last 8 rounds because Mayweather made it go 8 rounds? Because he's a very controlling boxer. He was, whether or not you want to, like when you looked at the stats afterwards and how many punches were thrown, how many punches were landed and everything, ignoring the percentages, I don't think Mayweather even threw 100 punches and Jake threw 240 almost.
And he still had him rocked.
Alright, Logan, whatever. I always mix up their names, but I know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Logan threw over 200 punches. So it felt like Mayweather was really controlling the fight, and it makes me really stop and wonder, like, is the only reason why it went 8 rounds because Mayweather let it go 8 rounds? Probably. Yeah. He probably got paid more the longer that it went.
Yeah, apparently every round. See, I watched because I bought the fight. Someone generously donated the fight to me, so I got to watch the fight from a special link that was very graciously donated to me from the pay-per-view themselves.
Yep.
And apparently every round that went on, they got to run more ads so they would get paid more money. So
hold on, say that again. Every round that went on, they got to, pardon me?
They got to run more ads. So, you know, like how in between...
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, in between rounds, like, there's, like, maybe, like, a minute and a half buffer, and they just run ads during that. Kind of like in the NBA when, like, there's timeouts and they throw the ads up. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the same sort of thing. So, apparently they got paid more for every round that went on because then they could run more ads. So... does kind of make sense when thinking about that now, why it did look like Logan got rocked, and I think it was the 5th round or the 6th round, and Mayweather was literally, you had this 5'8" guy holding this 6'2", like just huge guy up,
holding him. He had 45 pounds on him too, just holding him up.
Makes sense now. But I mean, one thing I will say, Logan did come out really strong in the first 2 rounds, and I have a lot of respect for Logan Paul. Me personally, when Logan Paul was like crazier on the YouTube like vlogging aspect, like chapter of his life, I wasn't like the biggest fan. I wasn't really watching. But I mean, recently I have started to gain a lot of respect for Logan Paul, genuinely. Like just for like his business moves, the way that he's starting to conduct himself, the way that he's running his team, the events that he sets up with like the boxing, because him and KSI made this whole boxing thing pretty much what it is now. They are the pioneers of this.
He did that to save his career. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. You're right that he's like smart when it comes to business moves and stuff, but the main reason for that is because he made the biggest career mistake of his life and made that Suicide Forest video.
Yeah, the whole forest thing.
That video was like so poorly received and had such a negative impact on his career, like causing him to lose like YouTube Red sponsorships, sponsor deals, brand deals, etc., that the only way to bounce back his career was to actually engage the redemption arc and stop being an asshole.
That's one thing that people really do like, is a redemption story. Like, it's crazy. People will really not like you or really hate you, but if you had like a fall from grace and you're trying to pick it back up, and you know, you spin it in a way that makes it look like, yeah, you're really trying to overcome the things that you've done, people will get behind you. Like, it's just, you know, people just really like it. I guess even me to a degree, because as I said, I've started to have some respect for him, even going 8 rounds with arguably the greatest boxer of all time. I mean, I respect it. I'm definitely not getting in no damn ring with Mayweather. They gotta give me at least 30 racks before
they gotta cut me
30 racks, my bad, 30
check.
million, because that man will get brain damage. Check. Yeah, you hear what happened to Conor McGregor? Apparently, Conor McGregor, after that fight that he had with Mayweather, he sustained like permanent brain damage.
Actually, yeah, I did not hear that. That's crazy.
He apparently, it wasn't like anything like crazy, but he sustained like not crazy, but he did have some sort of like something permanently hurt. Like, that's how crazy it was, you know. And Conor McGregor is a fighter. Like, Conor McGregor is like one of the best current UFC fighters. So that should just tell you how serious it is to really get in the ring with a man like Floyd Mayweather. So I don't know. I have respect for Logan Paul for doing that. I definitely would consider more than 3 times doing that myself. They made a lot of money. They made a boatload of money.
They made an obscene amount of money. It was disrespectful.
Yeah, it was just a win-win. That whole night was just a win-win. There was an undercard. The only undercard that I kind of saw was Ocho Cinco, and like he got put on his ass, but I mean, he got back up. And yeah, he got put on his ass. But yeah, I respect him for getting in the ring too, because like, bro, like, boxing is not no joke. Like, you never know. All it really take in boxing is like one really bad round and you could get hurt very bad. Yeah. So yeah, I respect for all those guys that got in the ring. Big event, a lot of money. I'm pretty sure like this is only the beginning. This is, I definitely see, we're kind of starting to see it now, and we're gonna jump into this with the next topic that we have for pop culture and media. This whole celebrity boxing is definitely starting to become its own genre, and I already said this, I am here for it. I have no problem with it because I like seeing this. I like seeing amateur fighters try and professionally fight each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely turning into a spectacle, and I think I mentioned this on one of the previous episodes, but I do kind of worry that it's devaluing the importance of the sport. But at the same time, it's like freaking WWE. Like, I don't go to WWE to watch legitimate wrestling. I go to WWE to watch like foolishness and fuckery.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I don't go here to watch like actual professional fighters. I go here to watch amateur fighters fight in a professional setting and actually have to throw hands.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, it is, like as you said, it is kind of devaluing the essence of the sport, but I feel like it is putting more eyes on boxing in general. Like, I'll touch on it more in the second topic that we have. Well, actually, we could kind of can we go into it? Do you have anything else to say about Logan Paul and Mayweather?
No. We can definitely segue into the second topic, which involves another fight.
Yeah, it's another fight. We're actually recording this after the fight has happened. I paid for this pay-per-view as well. Actually, no, my bad. I was graciously gifted the money to get this link.
My benefactor donated the fund.
Yeah,
so that I can pay for this pay-per-view.
Amazing, you know. It is the YouTubers versus TikTokers event. There was a press conference held for this. I think it was like 2 weeks back. Maybe 3 weeks back. The main card was Bryce Hall versus Austin McBroom. There was a bunch of undercards. There was some really good undercards.
Hold on. Before we get into this topic, we didn't discuss the most important thing about the Logan Paul versus Mayweather fight.
What?
That they promoted it as a legitimate boxing match, and then a week before the fight, when tickets were already sold, they announced that it was an unofficial, unsanctioned match because of the weight difference and a bunch of other BS, and that there would be no official winner. So no one won that fight, in case our listeners were wondering, because we never said who won the fight. No one did.
Oh,
the only winners were Logan Paul and Mayweather, who both walked away with $2 million.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of stipulations. So knockouts did count. So I'm pretty sure if you get a knockout, you did win. But if it went to decision, there were no official judges to actually score the fight. So if it went the full 8 rounds like it did, then it's essentially a draw.
No contest.
Yeah,
literally.
no contest. So yeah, there was that.
But anyways, this YouTubers versus TikTokers event that we're talking about actually did have judges, so it was actually sanctioned.
Yeah, there was judges. This was scored. There was I believe 6. There was 5 undercards, I want to say, and then the main card. The most notable undercards were definitely FaZe Jarvis, and the name of that TikTok kid escapes my memory now. It escapes my memory, but
your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, the TikTokers, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't really know any of the TikTokers. The only one I knew was the one on the main card.
I don't really know them like that, yeah.
But yeah, the real notable fights were FaZe Jarvis and the TikToker that he fought, Deji and Taylor Hall. And then Austin
Taylor Holder or whatever.
Yeah, Taylor. Yeah, why did I say Taylor Hall? Taylor Holder, and then Anise and Gibb.
Yeah, don't forget about Gibb. I was about to say
Gibb.
Some respect on that Gibb fight.
And then Austin and Bryce Hall. Obviously, I named like pretty much everyone that fought, so you could see that they were decent fights. So Jarvis, he knocked that TikTok kid on his ass. He was, I believe, the only one that got
him.
Huh?
Out.
Yeah, he laid him out. He deadass had him hanging on like the bottom rope. Like, that's something like you see in like games and shit. You don't really like, you don't really see people hanging from outside the bottom rope like it's WWE ready to catch a 619 or some shit. Like, it's insane. But yeah, Jarvis definitely did not come to play. Gibb did not come to play. Gib
got fucking
Gib went
messed.
all 5 rounds and was not tired, bro. I
Yo,
don't know how he did
Gib
that.
was all gas, no brakes, throwing hands on a man who had almost 5 inches. He had 4.5 inches of reach on him. Gib just ran in there all 5 rounds, 10 minutes straight, just gave it to him.
Yeah, Gib, he even said before he said he was 101 kilograms and then he cut to like 80. So for viewers listening, that's like roughly he went from like 210 to like 170. So he cut roughly, I would say, anywhere from 20 to 40 pounds.
Yeah, like 30, 40 pounds.
He looked good. He looked pause. You know, for all them boys that just be saying pause for everything, pause, I guess. But he looked defined. He looked like a fighter. He just came out and looked ready. And his opponent, I believe it was Taylor Holder. Was it?
Yeah. No. Yes, Taylor Holder. The reason why we got confused with the names is because when you mentioned Deji earlier, Deji fought that Vinny guy.
Yeah, Vinny. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Deji fought Vinny. That was the upset of the night. But just quickly touching on Gib, because this goes back to the point that I was making during the Logan and Mayweather fight. Holder, he actually sparred with Canelo. And for those of you who don't know, Canelo is like, he is one of the best current fighters right now. So that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people wouldn't really know who Canelo is, but they seen Holder training with Canelo. They're like, oh, Canelo's a real boxer, and they go search up Canelo and they go see, like, Canelo's actually really good. Like, Canelo fought Mayweather a long time ago, back when Canelo was way younger and he wasn't like as good as he is now, and he lost. But I mean, he didn't look bad in the fight. Like, he's still a really good fighter, amazing fighter now. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it goes back to the point that I was making in the Logan Mayweather fight, which is, I feel like it is kind of shining a light, whether some people would say good or bad. I feel like it's personally good, but it is shining a light on the whole sport of boxing as a whole, kind of like that all rising tides lift all boats scenario.
Yeah,
So-
like, I'm not mad at it because, like, there's a place for fantasy like celebrity boxing, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, there's a place for this, just like there's a place for WWE alongside, like, actual, like, UFC and stuff. So I mean, it can be its own thing and it can have its own niche. I'm not that upset about it.
Yeah, I know some like boxing is really a sport where it's like there's the purists are really purists. So I know they really do not like any of this shit at all. They don't like it. I'm pretty sure. That's just how boxing is. Boxing has always been like that. It's always been a sport where it's like really, because boxing is a sport that's really technical. So
I mean, it's very physically intensive. It requires a lot of focus and dedication and determination. And like, I can see why people who are very serious about, like, the type of people who are good at boxing are people who are very serious about their craft.
Yeah.
So they're not, like, I can understand people like that not being fans of people jumping into your world and acting like it's so simple and so easy when you've dedicated so much time and effort and energy into this.
Yeah, I definitely understand. That's just how the purists are, and I honestly don't judge. I don't blame them. It makes sense. But I'm just saying, I as a whole, I just like this. I like this whole style of boxing. Yeah, it's very entertaining. Deji fought Vinny. His last name escapes me, but the Vinny was like 18. He's like 18, very skinny. Does not look like a guy that can really knock like a Deji out. But he came out
Deji
with
had
the
like
win.
weight on him.
Yeah. He came out with the win though. And it's crazy because Deji has actually been in these sorts of fights before.
This was his third match. And he got gassed like, what was it, like the second round? Third round?
Yeah, the second, like the beginning of the second round.
45 seconds into the third round, it got called because he was tired and didn't want to fight anymore.
Yeah, you could actually see Was it? I think it was the third round. He actually dropped before the round even started. Like his legs like buckled.
A knee or whatever.
Yeah, his legs buckled. So you could tell how tired he really was. It really a big upset. Deji definitely should have worked on his cardio, because they had like 3-4 months in advance to train for the fight.
You can't going out like this.
Yeah.
On your third, this is your third organized boxing fight. Whether you want to consider it like a professional fight or not professional, because for whatever reason in the announcements and stuff they kept throwing out the word professional match and saying you guys look very professional out there, but it's not professional.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to legitimize it. But yeah, go.
You had so much time. You've known for so long, and the worst part of it all is that he's lost every of the 3 fights he's been in. He lost all 3 of them. So come on, bro, you gotta freaking change something in your camp.
Not a good look. Definitely not a good look. He needs, any time if Deji does fight again, he needs to work on his cardio. If you have a fight and you know it's in 3 or 4 months, you can definitely cut 20 pounds in 3 to 4 months. That's like 5-6 pounds a month.
Yeah.
That's if you're working with a team that has you training and working out and trying to eat right every day, well, trying, quote unquote, to have you eat right every day, your cardio should be, I'm not going to say immaculate, but at least better than what it would have been if you weren't training for a fight. So I'm just kind of confused how this whole situation even came up. I'm really confused how that happened. But regardless, that was a big upset. The main card, Austin and Bryce Hall.
Well, you see, I got one name for that man, and it's goddamn bobblehead Bryce, because his neck was flying back that whole fight.
Ooh, bobblehead Bryce, man. Hey, you heard it here first. If anyone say that, you know who said it. You know who said it, bro. But yeah, there was one point where Austin literally hit him with like a 5-piece. It was like a 4 or 5 piece, and Bryce had not even that he didn't have no response. He didn't even have like the reaction to it. Like the put your
he didn't
hands
even know
up.
what was going on.
He literally just ate it. He just took all hits. It was insane. I think that was the only fight I ever we seen in the night where someone actually bled too.
Yeah, I think that was the only fight that drew blood.
And he was bleeding bad. Like his nose was leaking like a faucet.
Yeah, he got cracked open.
Man, I kind of felt like Austin was gonna win though, because from the press conference when they got in that little scuffle, like Bryce Hall did not look ready, bro. Like, let's be serious, he did not look ready, bro. If y'all in the little press conference and everyone is holding you back and you still get stomped out and your ass beat, I have no shadow of a doubt that when it's just you and him in the ring and there's no one to hold him back, he gonna get on your ass. So I mean, I wasn't really surprised that Austin won. Kind of felt like that was the way it was gonna go, but just like in this fashion, I felt like Bryce was gonna put up a better fight. He did get 1 or 2 really good hits in, but I mean, besides that, he was eating it like it was breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Bam. I can't believe, so I was always Camp Austin, specifically because, and this is a little bit of backstory here, but Bryce Hall started talking a whole bunch of shit to KSI on Twitter and trying to say that he was going to fight KSI, and I did not want to see Bryce Hall fight KSI. And KSI basically said, if you win your fight with Austin McBroom, then we'll talk, but you're a freaking joke to me. I'm literally about to drop an album and go do a tour. Like, I don't care about fighting you. But if you win your fight, then maybe we'll talk. I did not want to see Bryce Hall versus KSI. I did not want to see that happen.
Yeah,
so
I definitely
I wanted Austin to win. And that's what I was talking to you in the pre-show about when I mentioned I didn't want to see that.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't
Okay,
that-
yeah, that's what you mean. Okay.
It wasn't that my thing died. It meant that I really didn't want to see it get to that point. So I really wanted Austin to win. And I can't even say that he clinched it out. He had a very decisive victory. I don't even think that anyone would even try and give it to Bryce, especially considering it's really funny. I don't remember I think it was Logan Paul that said this as well, but he said, I like Bryce Hall. He's a cool kid, but he's really good at getting his ass kicked. He's really good at getting his ass beat. And that's what happened. He got the fight controlled. He got handled all fight. And the only things he tried to do was hug up and grapple on Austin. And this is not an MMA match. This is not an exhibition. This is specifically a boxing match. You can't do that. So he was running in, hugging this man, trying to grapple him, push him down. And the ref just kept breaking it up. At one point, the ref had to take points away from Bryce, but it didn't even matter because he got TKO'd. And I think they had $1 million bet riding on this if they knocked each other out. So Austin just won $1 million.
Yeah, he just got a big bag on top of the big bag that he was getting already. Man, crazy. I feel like not only because there's a lot of attention towards the whole boxing thing, they're getting big bags because like for instance, Jake Paul and Triller, I believe you told me that he owns some stake in Triller, plus he got additional money from the pay-per-view. So
yeah, he's a like partial investor.
Yeah, so just big bags, big bags, definitely, man. So yeah, I definitely do see this boxing thing will be here to stay. How long, I don't know, but I mean, I will definitely be tuned in.
I think it's interesting because we're in a very unique period of like media where like we grew up in the age where TV was still a thing, but internet was starting to become more popular. So there wasn't as much of an avenue for people to gain a platform on the internet and then like spring off into these things, because it seems like a pretty reasonable advancement in your career to go from making like social media content like YouTube, TikTok, whatever, to like getting a bunch of followers and then trying to do other types of entertainment, whether that be like movies, TV, sports, boxing, whatever it be. It actually makes a lot of sense to branch into those other areas of entertainment. So I think that it's just something that we're going to get used to as things progress, because we're in that very unique time period of the internet age.
Yeah, now is really the time of the slash, you know, like I'm a musician slash YouTuber slash whatever else you want to do. We're really living in that age where it's like
it's never been easier to wear multiple hats.
Yeah, you can definitely, it's a lot easier to break down barriers and just jump into things and be like, yeah, I want to do this now, which, you know, it's good. It's good. It's really amazing when you see what people can do when they're left to their own devices and there's no barriers and there's no gatekeepers holding things up and telling people you have to do things like this or you have to do things like this. I like it.
Sure.
I'm interested.
Yeah, for sure.
What would be the next fight that you want to see?
That's a good question. All of Jake Paul's fights have been rigged, like quite literally, whether it's like the just being an overwhelming advantage in his favor, or like the Ben Askren thing, which was literally like Ben Askren's old and had like hip replacement surgery a week and a half or like 2 weeks before the fight or whatever. So I want to see Jake Paul fight someone who actually wants to knock his head off and isn't just there for the bag. But that's just because I want to see him get his head knocked off and I want to see him get humbled. I'm hoping that like this humbles Bryce Hall too, because Bryce Hall has been a pretty arrogant personality, and his like entire thing, like he doesn't make good TikToks. He just like sits there and dances. He's one of those, like he's known for having dated Addison Rae. That's why he's famous. Yeah. He was with Addison Rae.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I really want to see Bryce Hall fight again. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, I really don't.
The only way I'd want to see it is if it was someone at his skill level. I think that would be very funny to watch. I don't think it'd be.
It would be a street brawl at that point. It'd be two kids flinging their hands.
Bro, but I don't know. There's just something. I don't know if you've seen that clip on Twitter of Lamar Odom fighting Aaron Carter. Bro,
goodness,
I don't know why. That was just super entertaining. That was actually so entertaining, bro. Just a little 2 minutes.
That was a massacre, though. Lamar Odom, the first person I ever seen sag boxing shorts.
Bro, there was I had so many questions when I seen that clip. Like, why, boxing trunks are supposed to fit fairly fitted. Why can I see this man's boxers through his trunks, bro? Like, he said, I don't know, man. It was so many questions, but it was entertaining, bro. I loved it. So, I mean, that's the only way I'd actually want to see Bryce Hall fight again is if he fought someone at his level. I think I'd want to see him fight another TikToker. I think that would be interesting. I would watch that. Because I think...
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know about you, but for me at least, I don't watch TikTok, so I didn't know any of these TikTokers except for Bryce Hall beforehand. So, if it would have been all TikTokers fighting TikTokers, I wouldn't have watched this because I don't care.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I didn't
literally only watched it because I knew, the last 3 fights, Deji's, Gibbs, and Austin's, I knew all those YouTubers.
Yeah, that I do feel I didn't really know the YouTubers like that. Not the YouTubers. I didn't really know the TikTokers like that. But yeah. I mean, yeah, that's literally the only way I would watch someone like Bryce Hall or Bryce Hall himself fight. Think about it now. We actually forgot a fight. DDG fought someone named Nate Wyatt. I think that was his name.
I didn't forget that fight. I just don't have an opinion on it because I didn't see it. I didn't catch it.
DDG won. There was a lot of hugging though. A lot of hugging. It was kind of like the Mayweather Paul fight. There was a lot of hugging. But DDG won.
So they just got tired real quick.
DDG was beating his ass, and then Nate would come and hug, and then DDG would throw a few punches, get tired, and then he would hug. So it was big punch, 2-3 piece, hug, big punch, hug, 2-3 piece, hug. But DDG won. Yeah, not too much to really talk about in that fight. But yeah, in terms of people who I would want to fight, I want to see KSI fight Jake Paul. I think that would be interesting. I think that would be...
I wasn't sure if I wanted to commit to that. I'm not sure if I want to see...
I want to see someone who wants to knock Jake Paul's head off, and I think that KSI is the guy that would want to do it. But I don't know if I want to give him that satisfaction either of fighting KSI yet. You got to step up one more time before you do that, brother.
Well, the thing about Jake Paul, I'm not gonna say he's the greatest fighter, but he's definitely not washed. He's been in a few fights.
I personally think that all of his fights were rigged. So in one way or another, they were in an overwhelming advantage to him. So I don't think it's a good showing of what he's gonna look like fighting someone who's actually serious about fighting him. You know what I mean? But that's personal opinion.
He is supposed to fight Tyron Woodley. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yes, actually, I did see that.
Yeah, Tyron Woodley. I mean, granted, he has been retired for a while, but if you know about Tyron Woodley when he was in the UFC, he actually used to really hurt people. And he has hands. So, I don't know how that fight is gonna go. I feel like Jake will actually lose. I don't think he will win that one.
It's the most serious version of a cherry-picked fight he can have because it's still not with a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
He did UFC,
yeah,
but you can't do most of the things that you can do in UFC that are effective in this boxing match.
Tyron Woodley, he can actually he has a decent boxing style.
Yeah, he definitely has hands.
Yeah, it's a UFC boxing style, but it's still boxing. It's still the same.
Yeah, no, for sure. He definitely has hands, and that's not what I'm trying to say. It's just he won't be able to maneuver in the way that he's professionally used to.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's the most it's the highest difficulty easy mode he could pick.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But in terms of like YouTubers, I can't think of anyone that's like up to a higher level or around the same level as Jake Paul that would actually give him a run for his money. That's not KSI. I can't think of anyone.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
You know,
so I guess KSI is like the most reasonable option.
I hope it happens though, because I feel like that'll be the biggest. That'll be bigger than Logan. That'll definitely be bigger than Logan.
That would be something to watch, especially because I know Jake's gonna talk the most shit, even though his brother lost. He's gonna be like, "You only beat my brother by a fluke," blah blah blah. It's gonna be a whole thing.
That press conference would be amazing. That press conference, whatever year that happens to, that will literally be a highlight of the year. Whatever year that comes.
Yeah, that would be a highlight. Super big highlight.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see. I was gonna say one more thing about fighting, but it completely slipped my mind, so it must not have been important.
If you don't remember the idea, did you have anything else to say about this YouTube TikTokers fight?
YouTube TikTokers? No, I was hoping that those words would help me remember, because I think it had something to do with that, but I don't. So with that being said, I don't think we're gonna go into any bonus topics or anything on this episode, because we're already at a little over 2 hours here.
Oh yeah, we deep in.
And that was the last main topic that we have on our show notes. So it looks like this is the end of the show. I'm going to give my outro first this time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Whereas I usually let you just go ahead and exit it. And then I'll let you close up the show. So I just like to thank all of our listeners for listening and watching, like I always do. This has been episode 5, and you guys are going to actually catch this after the bonus E3 episode, and I hope that you guys enjoy that as well. Thanks to everybody who supports us, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it away, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you to everyone that listened. Another great episode 5. We are here. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened in the last few weeks. We just tried to touch on all of them. E3 coming up. As Enigma said, we are going to have that E3 bonus show ready for you guys. I feel like that will be a very interesting show. But
I'm excited to see what they have.
Yeah, for sure. I'm already seeing that, as I said earlier on in the show, Kotaku has the whole rumor mill heating up. So definitely will be a lot to talk about in that bonus show. But yeah, that's really it. Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead, follow UndeadEnigma at his socials. They're all going to be in the description. Go ahead, check the description. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I hate that like basic YouTube
yeah,
stuff.
But we gotta do it.
You have to do it though.
Script.
Yeah, you have to
do
it.
But we gotta read it.
But yeah, follow my socials. My socials are everything it's Ramehs. We will be back with episode 6. So, podcast people, podcast universe, checking in, checking out. Ramehs Radio episode 5. Peace.